hopefully doing a Dynasty rookie mock draft with a full mock draft with you, all the listeners. That would be ideal. We're going to start setting it up now and get the invites in and all that in just a second. But it is Sunday, February 15th. We are 10 days, 18 hours, 54 minutes away from the combine, which, doesn't matter. Yes. Doesn't matter as much as maybe we thought. Possibly not, but it's still important and put some guys on the radar for sure. So if you're hopping in here, drop a comment. Also, if you have any questions, about anything, feel free to ask them because we will also answer questions. So we are doing a rookie mock draft here. And we are doing it with landing spots as well. So I will get that pulled up as well, and I will drop it here in the chat. It's a 3-round mock draft from Chad Reuter over at NFL.com. I will drop that in the chat right now so you guys can check that out for the landing spots that we will be using for this mock draft. And yeah, we'll give it I don't know, 5-10 minutes before we actually start. I will drop the invite here in the chat so you guys can join if you're interested. I'll start sharing the screen here as well. This is the first time we're doing a live rookie mock draft with our listeners here. So hopefully we get at least it decently filled up. Yeah, I know it's the hype for the class and for rookie drafts usually hits peak. There's a couple peak times throughout the offseason. You get the peak time of post combine, and then you get as we get close to the actual NFL draft, we get some excitement. So, but we'll see if anyone else wants to join. Link is here in the chat. Hop on in, and we'll give it about 10 minutes there before we actually get started. Not really much NFL news. I mean, that's to be expected. This is one of the down periods. I get there was Seahawks did hire their offensive coordinator, Brian Fleury. I guess he was they hired them obviously because of the Kubiak going to the Raiders as their head coach. So looks like Ryan Fleury has been the run game coordinator and tight ends coach for the 49ers last year, tight ends coach before that. So he was kind of involved in the Niners organization there. So Sean, welcome. Is that you, Jay? Are you JMO right there? If you are, welcome. If not, hop on in. So I need to grab my water there. But yeah, if anyone wants to mock draft with us, please, guys, hop on in. We'd love to get at least half of this filled, if not more. We only have 2 people, including one of them is myself in here. So would love to get you guys in here drafting with us. So we have plenty of enough people watching. I know a lot of people just like to kind of listen as they do other things and stuff, and they don't want to mock draft, but would love to get a decent amount of people. Send the link in the Discord. I can do that for sure. I can do that absolutely. There it is. I put it in the live stream. Link to join Sleeper. There we go. But yeah, we'll go over some of these landing spots as well. This was kind of an interesting mock draft. It's always hard to find. It's always hard to find the good 3-round mock drafts, especially like pre-Super Bowl. They usually don't start coming out until combine, post-Super Bowl. By the way, if anyone wants to join the Discord, link here to join the Discord. And if you go down to the live stream, and there's a link to join the sleeper mock. So Dylan, let me know if you're able to get that there, but I sent it in the Discord for us all. But yeah, it was kind of an interesting mock draft that we're going to be using. Again, I'm going to share it with you here. I always write out the positions and the players and where they go in an Excel sheet. So it's just easier for me to follow. So I'll share this here with you guys. Actually, let me do that now while we are waiting for potentially more people to join. So the mock draft, the world we are living in with this mock draft, again, is from NFL.com. It's a 3-round mock draft. It was put out about 6 days ago. And this is the world we're living in. Mendoza is to the Raiders. Mekhi Lemon, first rookie wide receiver off the board, goes to the Browns. Jeremiah Love is a Saint. Carnell Tate, 14th overall to the Ravens. Ty Simpson, 16th overall to the Jets. Jordan Tyson, 18th overall to the Eagles. Kenyon Sadiq to the Dolphins. Denzel Boston is a Buffalo Bill. Casey Concepcion is a Steeler. And we get Jeremy Bernard drafted, mocked in the first round. Haven't seen him mocked in the first round yet. He goes 30th overall to the Broncos. Into the second round, we got Zachariah Branch, Omar Cooper to the Titans, Malachi Fields to the Jets, Michael Trigg to the Falcons, Deion Burks to the Niners, Jadarian Price, the second running back off the board, to the Texans, Deshaun Stribling to the Los Angeles Rams, Eli Stowers to the Broncos, and then we get into, that's the second round. Into the third round, we got Carson Beck, 65th overall to the Cardinals, Elijah Surratt, 73rd overall to the Saints. Katron Allen is a Chief. He is the third running back off the board. Garrett Nussmeier to the Dolphins. Drew Allard to the Steelers. Chris Bell, usually he's an early second-round pick. Here he's a mid third-round pick, is to the Falcons. Antonio Williams to the Vikings. Jacoby Lane to the Dolphins. Bryce Lance, I put Lane. It's Bryce Lance to the Patriots. Emmett Johnson to the Vikings, and Max Clare to the Jags. So we're kind of playing in this world here. Obviously, you don't have to follow that if you don't want to, but that's kind of the world that I'm going to be basing off of at the very, very least. So I am going to fix the draft here. We are going to do a 3-rounder. It's not going to be a snake. It should be linear. Everyone, 60 seconds on the clock here. So you might need a refresh potentially. If we can get a couple more people in, that would be awesome. I'm going to start this up in just a few minutes so the people in here are not waiting too long. Again, if you want to join the rookie mock here, I'm leaving the link once again in the chat. And it's also in the Discord. If you're on our Discord, go down to the live stream tab, and it's in there as well. It might be a little bit easier to click on the link there. So we'll start it in just a couple minutes. If you guys have any Dynasty questions, trades, all that fun stuff, feel free to ask them. As always, we will all be answering those as well. So I'll probably make the picks for the computer, for the non teams here that don't get filled, just so we don't get some random auto picks and stuff like that. So first one of the off season. I know it's still a little early. A lot of people aren't even thinking about that. So yeah, that's the last thing here. We're going to go 12 team PPR, Superflex, 1.25 tight end premium. That's the settings in a lot of our listener leagues, the 1.25 tight end premium Superflex. So that will be the settings for this draft. So again, we'll give it a couple more minutes if anyone else wants to join. If not, all is good. Seeing a lot of noise about. I guess I'll wait before we. I'll wait to bring that up before we go. So, but yeah, it's kind of that. It's that first weekend without football. I know we had the Pro Bowl weekend, which Of course, we don't got football then, but at least we had the Super Bowl to think about and talk about. This is the first weekend since August, basically, or early September, where we don't have football to talk about. It's a little bit sad, a little bit of a sad time, but we're gonna get this bad boy started up anyways. And let me just make sure I got the auto picks off for the computer here. So starting this up, of course, it is Mr. Jeremiah Love, who goes to the Saints, eighth overall to the Saints. Next up, I think how I would approach this, again, based off the landing spots in which we have just seen, I think how I would approach this. I think I would go Mekhi Lemon. I think he's my wide receiver one, and I think that him going to the Browns is not the worst spot. I know it's not ideal, but at least you can see a path for him to be the wide receiver one, and maybe the number one target for that team. And then we see Carnell Tate off the board there. How are we feeling about Carnell Tate going to the Ravens, 14th overall? Like, how are you guys feeling about that? Because I wouldn't feel great about it. That's, if I'm being completely honest. So I'm going to go ahead and take Fernando Mendoza because I don't love Tate or Tyson's landing spot, which again, we'll get to here, but I'm going to go Fernando Mendoza at the 104. And I am very curious where one player is. We'll pause it at the end of the first round and kind of discuss the first round overall here, as we got Dylan on the clock. Yeah, so Carnell Tate off the board at the 103. He goes 14th overall to the Ravens. So, man, it's just not a sexy landing spot. I mean, it's great for the Ravens. It's great for Lamar. Tyson was 18th overall to the Eagles there, Dylan. 18th overall to the Eagles. Again, I'll leave the link to the mock draft that we're using in the Discord as well, if you want to check that out. But yeah, Tyson was 18th overall to the Eagles. Kenyon Sadiq off the board, which makes total sense because it's a tight end premium league, a 1.25 tight end premium as well. So tight ends in a PPR league would be getting 2.25 per reception. I believe so one of our listener leagues is half PPR with 1.25 tight end premium, and then the other one is PPR. I think in the PPR one, Trey McBride was the number one most valuable player in that league. As I'm going to take Denzel Boston here. I think if Denzel Boston goes to the Buffalo Bills and these other receivers get that kind of landing spot, I can see the argument to take Boston even higher than the 106. Again, if you're presented with a situation where, Mekhi Lemon goes to the Browns, Carnell Tate goes to the Ravens, Jordan Tyson, who I will take here, goes to the Eagles, and Denzel Boston goes to the Bills, I think you can make an argument for Denzel Boston going maybe as I would take him potentially at the 104. That's kind of how I have my rankings for this draft. But yeah, it's interesting. Is Eli Stowers off the board? Interesting there, T-Zane. I like it. I mean, he's one of those tweener tight ends. He's a big wide receiver more than a tight end. And he goes to the Broncos, 62nd overall. And I was talking about this, and I guess I'll make these picks, and then we can talk a little bit about the first round real quick. I'm going to go Kaytron Allen here. Kaytron Allen goes to the Chiefs. He's the third running back off the board, but he goes to the Chiefs, 74th overall. I can see where Kaytron Allen, one, he has the name behind him. A lot of people like Kaytron Allen just because I think he's Penn State's all-time leading rusher. He's been in college for a while. I'm going to go Jadarian Price, and then we're going to go with Concepcion. So this is the first round here. We're going to pause it real quick just to discuss a little bit. We won't take too much time here, but this is a tight end premium league. This is a super flex. I'll be honest, guys, I'm already starting to like this rookie draft a little bit more. I personally think this rookie draft, I feel pretty confident with 8 to 10 players already. And if we get a couple running backs like Katron Allen or Jonah Coleman or Emmett Johnson go to the right teams, I could see this stretching into the early second round. I think this is going to be a better draft than we originally thought about about a month ago or so. But yeah, Denzel Boston to the Bills. You got Jordan Tyson to the Eagles. Stowers to the Broncos, especially in these settings. Yeah, especially in 1.25 tight end premium league, right? Katron Allen goes third round to the Chiefs. I think the lack of running back depth in this draft class and the Chiefs taking a running back either second or third round, that running back's probably going to be a first round pick. Ty Simpson goes to the Jets, 16th overall. Jadarian Price is a Texan in the second round, and Concepcion is a first round pick to the Steelers. So I think it's an interesting one. I talk about Denver a lot, and like it's kind of weird with Denver because Sean Payton was like in New Orleans, he was kind of like fantasy gold. We always seem to have either running backs, quarterbacks, wide receivers, tight ends that were just producing for Sean Payton's Saints. Going back to Marquise Colston and Reggie Bush and Pierre Thomas and Darren Sproles. And then you had like Michael Thomas and Jimmy Graham and obviously Kamara and Ingram and all these guys. And then with the Broncos, I feel like we haven't quite had it yet. Sutton's had a good couple of years, but nothing like elite. He's been very good, but he hasn't been like elite. The running back, not quite, for a full season. No tight end really with the Broncos. So is it because Sean Payton's changed, or is it because he just hasn't found the right guys? So, they take 2 skill position players here. Stowers is one of them. We'll be talking about the other one here soon. At the 201, I'm going to go ahead and grab Emmett Johnson. He is the 4th running back off the board in this mock draft. He goes to the Vikings. Vikings, Chiefs, those 2 teams come to mind that if they draft a running back in the second or third round, like an Emmett Johnson or a Katron Allen or a Jonah Coleman, those picks are fringe, either first-round picks or fringe first-round picks, in my opinion, because those are really, really nice landing spots for running backs. So I'll go ahead and take Emmett Johnson here, and then I am going to take my boy. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take Omar Cooper, who every single day I'm rising on Omar Cooper. He goes 35th overall to the Tennessee Titans. And I love that, man. I love him being paired up with Cam Ward. The wide receiver 1 spot for Tennessee is wide open. I like the coaching staff that's come into the Titans. I think the arrow's up on the Titans a little bit. And I think they're building a pretty good core around Ward. I like Io Manor. I like DK. I like Gunnar Helm. I don't think any of those guys are alpha number 1 players. If Omar Cooper can kind of be that, it's a little bit of a stretch for a second round wide receiver, but if he could become that, you got a nice little core there around Cam Ward. And Jeremy Bernard off the board there would have been my next pick. First round pick to the Broncos. So just talked about those Broncos. Like, they were a little bit frustrating. They've drafted 3 wide receivers over the last 3 years, right? They went Marvin Mims in the second round. Troy Franklin was a 4th round pick, and then Pat Bryant was a 3rd round pick, right? Those are the last 3 years they've taken a receiver, in the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th round. And we haven't quite seen anyone really like take over. Troy Franklin had a better year this year, but it's not quite what we maybe wanted. So I'm going to go a little bit. I'm going to go a little bit deeper here. I'm going to go Chris Bell. He doesn't go until the 3rd round here. I'm used to seeing Chris Bell go early 2nd round. He goes early, mid 3rd round to the Falcons. I think Chris Bell is a really, really good player. He did tear his ACL in late November, so it could be a bit of a redshirt year for him, which again maybe is the argument to not take him here. But I still think he's a really good player, man. Like, he is a linebacker playing wide receiver. He probably runs like a 4.45, maybe in the mid 4.4s, potentially. And that's just crazy to see. as we see Jonah Coleman off the board. Yeah, Jonah Coleman didn't get drafted. You almost always see in 3-round mock drafts, you almost always see Jonah Coleman going in the second or third round. He doesn't get drafted here. So it's tough to know. Obviously, like, you don't have to follow, the mock draft at all, but it's hard to see, even if he's an early 4th-round pick, he deserves to go here. I'm not super impressed by Coleman. I think he's a good player, but I'm not like super like, I really like Jadarian Price a lot. I think there's a lot to like about Jadarian Price. As I'm going to go ahead and take Deion Burks here. He goes to the 49ers. So Deion Burks is kind of in that tier of wide receivers where I'm not really sure how to differentiate between them quite yet. I'm still kind of parsing through it and stuff. Him, Zachariah Branch, Malachi Fields, and stuff like that. But he goes to the 49ers, and the 49ers need to overhaul their pass catchers. You got Juwan Jennings as a free agent. Kendrick Bourne's a free agent. Brandon Ayuk's probably out from the team. George Kittle has a torn Achilles late in the season. They basically have like Ricky Pearsall and Demarcus Robinson are like the only 2 players who produced in 2025 that are coming back really healthy next year, most likely. And so, I don't think Stribling is in this mock draft. I would probably take him here. So I'm just going to go ahead and take a random wide receiver here. As my time runs out. This is Deshaun Stribling, who goes to the Rams. He goes to the Rams in the 61st overall. So Zachariah Branch off the board. T-Zane, what do you think of like, because I'm kind of starting to rise on Zachariah Branch. At first I was kind of like, I don't know. Now I'm starting to like him more. He goes 34th. He's a early second-round pick in this mock draft to the Cardinals. So how are you viewing that? Because obviously, like, to me, if everyone's healthy, it's hard to see the path for Zachariah Branch year one, because you have Marvin Harrison, you have Michael Wilson, obviously you have Trey McBride. Like, is he just a future Michael Wilson replacement? Which obviously, teams don't just draft for what they need in 26. They draft for what they need in 27, 28, right? And so they draft a year early and stuff like that. But kind of an interesting one there. I'm going to go ahead and take Michael Trigg, Elijah Surratt, who goes to the Saints in the 3rd round. Michael Trigg goes to the Falcons in the 2nd round, which I would assume means that Kyle Pitts is no longer there. I'm going to go ahead and take Malachi Fields here. Malachi Fields goes in the 2nd round as well. He's a top 50 pick to the Jets. So, he's obviously the wide receiver 2 there for them, but they do draft Ty Simpson. So if Ty Simpson is good, then, we might have something there. And then I'll go ahead and grab Jacoby Lane. This is the 2nd round here. I'll just pause the draft real quick. At first I didn't like him either, but he wins against man really well, so I might get him late. Yeah. That's insane. 4.73 yards per route run against man is absolutely insane. And I'm right there with you. Like, at first I wasn't really that excited about Zachariah Branch. And then the more I've scouted him, the more I've actually, I see something here. And then again, you're telling me he goes 34th overall. He's essentially a 1st-round pick, early, the 2nd pick of the 2nd round. The only issue is he goes to the Cardinals, right? And so, do we see him year one beating out Michael Wilson, Marvin Harrison? Plus you have Trey McBride, who just caught a bazillion passes. But again, it's the 2nd round pick. It's the 208. The odds of the 208 panning out anyways are quite low. So might as well take someone that you think is good and who also gets the draft capital, right? So they don't always have to break out year one. But so this is your 2nd round. And again, I don't mind, if we look at how the 2nd round panned out here, right? You get Emmett Johnson at the 201, and Emmett Johnson goes, he's a 3rd round pick to the Vikings. That's a nice pick. Omar Cooper, who's a top He's a 35th overall to the Titans. That's a good pick. Jeremy Bernard is a first-round pick. You're getting a first-round pick wide receiver at the 203. Like, I don't think we would have thought that a month ago with this draft. People were like, the first 6 picks are fine. I'm starting to see it stretch out a little bit more here. Chris Bell, who I like, Jonah Coleman, who a lot of people has their RB2 going at the 205. Obviously he didn't get drafted in this mock, but still, like, I think in the right settings, in a super flex league, in a tight end premium league, I think this draft can kind of stretch into like early to even mid second round potentially. So I'm going to go ahead and take Nussmeier. He's probably my QB3 in this draft. But I think there's a huge gap, obviously. He goes third round. He's probably just a career backup, but he goes third round to the Dolphins. I mean, we look at all the starters we see every single year at the quarterback position. Wouldn't shock me if Nussmeier's starting next year. And then I'll go ahead and grab as well Carson Beck, who I think I kind of heard that like teams kind of like Carson Beck about like just what he can provide to their team. So the draft really is that bad or isn't that bad? Okay, isn't that bad. Yeah. Exactly. So it's the year of the wide receiver, right, TJ? So I 100% agree with you. And that's kind of what happened last year. Almost the same thing happened last year. Right around in January, people were kind of like, this draft isn't that great, right? The 2025 draft I'm talking about. They're like, that draft isn't that great. And then we realized how deep it was at the running back position. And then we were like, oh, actually, this draft is actually really good because because there's so many running backs, they're pushing other, players and positions down the board a little bit. And that makes the draft really good. We could get a repeat of that with the wide receivers. I think there's going to be enough wide receivers taken in the second and early third round that if we get another first round quarterback, if we get a couple of these tight ends go in the second round in a tight end premium league, plus we get a couple of these running backs like a Jadarian Price, Katron Allen, Emmett Johnson, Jonah Coleman go in the second or third round to good teams, we're looking at the top 15 picks being pretty nice here. So I'll go ahead and take Antonio Williams, who where did Williams go? He went to the Vikings, 82nd overall. Don't love that, but Nicholas Singleton off the board there. I kind of get a little bit with Singleton, a little bit of Ollie Gordon vibes, not in terms of like the style of player, but I feel like Singleton, and again, it's a fine pick in the third round. Like, obviously we don't know where he goes, but it's a third round. Like, take running backs for the most part, right? But like, Ollie Gordon was maybe, a lot of people thought he was like the best running back in football heading into, after he came off like his 2,000-yard season and all that. I forget if he rushed for 2,000 or had 2,000 combined. He had 2,000 combined. Yeah. After his sophomore season. And people loved Ollie Gordon last year. The people that like loved him after his sophomore year. Singleton, my only concern with him is like we kind of saw, and again, I didn't watch a whole lot of Penn State games, and I need to watch more of his film, but his worst season to me was his last season, and that's always a little bit concerning to me. So I'll go ahead and just take Claire here. He goes to the Jags, so I don't really expect much year one here. I mean, again, how much do you expect from any of these guys year one at this point? But I will take Bryce Lane. I don't think Bryce Lane is in the database either. He's not, or Lance. I keep calling him Lane because I wrote it that way. It's Lance. He's not here. So I'll go ahead and just take someone here to kind of fill that in. Lance goes to the Patriots, 95th overall. So he's an interesting one for sure. I mean, North Dakota State, but like obviously he put up big numbers and stuff like that. So it'd be interesting to see how much like he's one of those that kind of like needs the combine and like pro days and going to the Senior Bowl and stuff like that. Like he needs that more that matters for him more than anyone else. I like the Skylar Bell pick 100%. He doesn't get drafted, but still really, really like that pick. I just think he's a really nice like route runner. So someone else I'm a lot higher on than most people. I don't know. It worries me just a little bit, but CJ Daniels, I think has an intriguing skill set. Now you look at his numbers and it's kind of like, what is there to like, really? He played at Liberty there. He's been in college since 2020. It's crazy to think we still have people coming out of college that played in the COVID year. There's a couple of them off the top of my head: Daniels, McGowan, Seth McGowan. But he played at Liberty for 4 years, transferred to LSU when LSU wasn't good in 2024, and then played at Miami last year. But none of his numbers really pop off the page or anything like that. But I just think he has an intriguing wide receiver skill set there. So we'll go with Endries, Jack Endries. I don't know who tight end 2 is in this draft class yet. I want to lean Stowers, especially for fantasy purposes. But honestly, it could be Claire, it could be Trigg, it could be Endries. To me, there's like 4 or 5 guys that could be drafted as tight end 2. Yeah. What's insane, T-Zane? Tell me what's insane here. And I'll also go with Seth McGowan's not in the database, so we'll go Jolie. We'll go Jolie and Brazil here. So it does seem to be the year of the wide receiver, and honestly, there probably should be some more running backs going. In the late second, third round, just because those are more likely to hit. And there will be for sure more running backs going. We need to know who, we don't know who as of right now, obviously. And maybe if we can find like a 7-round mock draft or something like that. But Seth McGowan is someone that I think is intriguing out of Kentucky. I think he's pretty interesting. He also played during the COVID year. He had some legal issues. Was actually in jail, so he didn't play. He didn't play from 20 in Division I football. He didn't play from 2020, where he was as a freshman at Oklahoma. He put up over 500 total yards, and 4 touchdowns, which is pretty good. Like he was really good as a receiver, receiving out of the backfield. He had some legal issues, got put in jail. Then I think he played at some junior college. And then 2024, he comes back to kind of Division I, plays at New Mexico State, and then last year at Kentucky. So he's older. People are still playing from the COVID year, right? It is crazy. There's not many of them. This might be the last guys, but that are doing that. But in Seth McGowan's case, there were some legal issues there. So what was it? Oklahoma, and then he was dismissed from the team. He committed to Butler Community College after being out of football for 2 years, spending a season at Texas College where he didn't appear in any games. And then he played at Butler Community College, and then went to New Mexico State, played there for a while. So I don't know. He's intriguing to me. I think he has Mike Washington. I agree. I like Mike Washington too. There's a couple guys out there, Le'Veon Moss out of Texas A&M as well, I think is intriguing. Again, a lot of it's going to depend on where these guys go. Damon Claiborne out of Wake Forest, Mike Washington, Jamari Taylor. He played at Virginia last year. Jamari Taylor, he has some really, really good underlying numbers. He also played. He played at pulling up the exact school. He played at North Carolina Central University. So he was playing in. I don't know if that's Division II or what they're in, but he played there for a while. Only won one season, I believe, at Division I football, but he has some interesting underlying numbers like breakaway percentage and stuff like that. So that's pretty fun. Justin, we're talking about Dynasty fantasy football. So if you're interested in that, then join us. One guy's going into his 9th year. That's crazy. What's it? Solomon. I'm not even going to try and say that. Wow. That's insane. I know Trinidad Chambliss got he got granted, like he was suing the NCAA or something. I don't know the details of it. Maybe one of you guys do, but it was related to his eligibility stuff, and he won, and he's going back to Ole Miss, I think. He played at Ferris State for a while. It's it's kind of crazy that I like Chambliss a lot. It makes this it makes this quarterback draft class weaker. I don't necessarily think Chambliss was gonna. I would have been surprised, like if he was a 2nd round pick. I think that was like best case scenario for him. I don't know if he quite has the arm or the size to be an NFL quarterback, but I think he has a lot of intangibles, and he's a fun player, and you just never know, right? You never know with some of these guys. But yeah, he's going back to Ole Miss. So he played at Ferris State from 21 to 24, and then Ole Miss last year, and was awesome, top 10 in Heisman voting and all that. So, yeah. Preliminary injunction. Okay. Yep. He's on my he's definitely on my list here out of Navy. I love like stuff like that. I don't know. It's these running backs from like, you don't expect anyone to come out of Navy and produce in the NFL or stuff, but like that's what makes college football fun. NCAA denied him medical for the 22 season okay. So he disputed it. Got it. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see. I did think it was I thought it was a little interesting with Chambliss, like, because these guys know, right? Like, and so this is what makes me kind of interested in Ty Simpson a little bit, because these guys know, like, they get inside information. Now, is it always going to be right? I don't think so. But like Matthew Golden is an example. I remember when he declared last year, it was a little bit unexpected. A lot of people thought he was going to go back to school. And it was basically because like he was being told, hey, very good chance you're a 1st round pick, especially in last year's wide receiver class. And so Ty Simpson, I think he was offered like $6 million or something in NIL money. Now he's going to make more than that if he goes in the 1st round, right? They get told a draft range, right? And if they don't like it, boom, they go back. Yeah, exactly. So Ty Simpson is one, for example, where he was offered $6 million in NIL, which is not nothing. Now, again, like if you look at rookie contracts, I think even 3rd round picks will make $6 million over the course of their rookie contract, not in 1 year, and stuff like that, right? But if he's a 1st round pick, he's going to make way more than $6 million, right? He's going to triple that or whatever. But anyways, like $6 million to go back to school is not a bad thing, right? So 6.5 from Miami. So like my thinking there is someone must have told him, hey, you're going to be a 1st round pick, or a very good chance you're going to be a 1st round pick. Is he just taking advantage of the weak quarterback class / avoiding the stacked quarterback class next year? Maybe, but I have to imagine that someone told him he might be a 1st round pick. Max Clare is another one. Max Clare to me was a kind of a candidate to go back to school, and I think he got offered a decent amount of money for him. I think he could have gone back he was a junior if I remember correctly. So he could have gone back and he declared. So someone telling him he's a day 2 pick in the NFL. So always interesting to follow that stuff. Kind of the opposite for Chambliss. I have to imagine if someone told him, hey, you have a chance to be a first round pick, that he, unless he really just wanted to go back to school, which maybe he did. But I think it's a little telling there. Plus, he's going to go up against that insane draft class of 27, which, again, a lot can change. But damn, that draft class is looking. I mean, you got Julian Sayin, you got Dante Moore, Arch Manning, Jaden Mayava, Lenora Sellers. I don't think Raiola is going to come out because he's going to be backing up more. So I think Raiola will be in the 28 class. Even guys like Mateer and stuff like that. Yeah, that draft class is going to be insane. He said he didn't want to ruin his career and memory of him being a Bama quarterback and wanted to return to Bama, so declared probably that plus day 1 pick. He didn't want to join a different team. Fair enough. But, I would have to imagine he wouldn't, because there was, like you said, $6.5 million from Miami. Someone has to be telling him, hey, very, very good chance you're a first round pick in this year's draft, right? As well. So, yeah, that makes sense. He didn't want to join a different team. Raiola is sitting behind Moore. Yeah. Plus, he's coming off an injury. So he might not even be ready. Yeah, a ton of quarterbacks next year. There are a ton of quarterbacks. I mean, you get that, plus you're probably very good chance we have someone's going to pop up and someone's going to kind of be a not as good as we expected. But Nate Frazier, running back from Georgia, is probably, he's being projected as a first round pick. You got, obviously the receivers that can come out. Jeremiah Smith is good enough to be 101. In the NFL draft is 101. He's going to be insane. Nick Marsh out of Michigan State, Ryan Williams out of Alabama, Cam Coleman is interesting. There's a couple Clemson guys, TJ Moore and what's his name, Wesco, I believe, that are interesting. Not all these guys are necessarily going to come out. Not all these guys are going to be studs and stuff like that. But I don't think that there's any good tight end. That's the one thing, I guess. I don't think the tight end class next year is supposed to be, as of now, very good. I think Green from LSU is kind of viewed as the tight end 1 for a lot of people. But obviously a lot of that's going to change. Yeah, he's definitely going to come out in 28. 27 has, Sayin, Moore, Arch. Yes. Yeah, it's insane, man. Holy crap. Just seeing it written out like that is insane. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think running back can be really good. I don't know. I would guess there's going to be, Frazier, Hardy, Brown. You got Jordan Marshall. Where did Justice Haynes go? Did he land somewhere else? Georgia Tech. Okay. Yeah, I know he was kind of debating to come out in this class, but he went to Georgia Tech. So, it's trade your second round picks, third round picks, and just cash them in for 27 picks if you can, because I do think that next year's class is going to be a lot deeper. So it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a super competitive college football year too. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. Can't believe we have to wait until freaking August for football, but we got some stuff to entertain us. Dynasty entertains us. We got the combine in 10 days. We got the free agency basically in a month. So free agency about 3 weeks after, the combine. And then we have a little bit of a lull between the first couple of weeks of free agency and then, the NFL draft, which is, what is it, the 25th or something this year. And then we get, some mini camp stuff and all that. And, we got our rookie drafts happening. So Marshall, Haynes, Lacey. Yeah, there's a lot of Smothers. Yes. And there's going to be someone that pops that pops out of nowhere, kind of too. They're seemingly like Ashton Genty. I know Genty had a really good, he wasn't just a 1 year wonder in college. He had a really good sophomore year. Just brain farted there as well. But no one expected Genty to be a top 10 pick, right? So there's going to be someone that comes out of nowhere, most likely. Yeah, Hollywood Smothers. Let's go. LJ Martin. Did you say Martin? LJ Martin is another one. I was a little bit. I don't think he's going to be I think he's best case day 2 pick, but I thought he was going to come out this year, and I was excited about that. Like him going back, Dante Moore going back to school. Off the top of my head, those are two that to me that really hurt this draft class quite a lot. Lenora Sellers, but I think we kind of assumed Lenora Sellers was going back to school. So, how do you rank Genty, Hampton, and Love as prospects? I would have Genty ahead of those guys by a decent amount as prospects. I would put Love and Hampton I would have had Love and Hampton pretty close. I think I would have had Jeremiah Love slightly ahead of Hampton as a prospect. As of right now, though, like if I'm talking like right now, like if I can make trades and stuff for these guys, I think I have Hampton number 1. I saw enough from Hampton where I'm like, holy crap, this guy's really good. If the offensive line can just be healthy. By the way, Mike McDaniel, and I know a lot of people are thinking like, Mike McDaniel, Harbaugh, doesn't seem like Mike McDaniel, like he made his bread and butter as a run game coordinator, run game specialist coordinator, whatever, for the 49ers. Like that's where he made his bread and butter before he became their offensive coordinator. He absolutely, and we saw what Achane was doing, and obviously very different players, Hampton and Achane, but like Mike McDaniel wants to run the ball, not pass the ball, like just like Harbaugh. So, I think I would have Hampton first, then Genty, then Love, if we're talking about right now. As prospects, though, it would have been Genty, Love, Hampton for me. But Love and Hampton were not that far off. Dylan, that class is going to be 4 firsts, 5 seconds, going to get 2 more firsts and 4 more seconds. Yeah. And hopefully, if you're in some leagues where people are not aware of it, man, like 100% take advantage of that if you can. Because there's just people that don't pay attention to it, and that's fine. Not everyone has to be degenerates like us who obsess over it. We're talking about the 27 class on February 15th, 2026. Not everyone has to be like that, but I think there's so much value in following kind of the draft offseason starting in January and not wait until a couple weeks before the draft. The one thing I point to the most with that was the Jonathan Taylor, Clyde Edwards-Helaire year. All offseason, us Dynasty players that were following from January, we all knew that it was Jonathan Taylor was easily the RB1 in that class. Was it the 2020 class? Easily the RB1 in that class. And then Clyde Edwards-Helaire goes first round to the Chiefs, and he got pushed up because of all the people that don't follow it from January. They follow it in April, and then they see, oh crap, Chiefs running back. And I have to be honest, like he moved up for everyone, right? When he got drafted first round to the Chiefs, because we all thought Kareem Hunt, this is the piece they need. But we knew that Jonathan Taylor was the best running back, and I would reckon in a lot of rookie drafts, Clyde went over Jonathan Taylor. I know he did in a couple that I saw. So, yeah, man, it's insane. It is insane. Again, we're going to get some guys that fall off, right? We're going to get some guys that fall off, and they aren't what we expect them. It happens every single year. But we're also going to get guys that come out of nowhere, so that should kind of level it out a little bit. So, but yeah, that is all for me, guys. We're going to be live again on Wednesday evening. If anyone is interested in a team review, join our Discord. We can get you a team review as soon as Wednesday evening if you want it. So I'll leave that here in the comments. So 6 running backs, 5 wide receivers, and 2 quarterbacks. Yeah. I don't know why I double posted here, but I guess I posted in the other stream as well. But join the Discord if you're not in it. You'll know when we go live. Also, if you want a team review or if you want to join in a Dynasty startup league, we're going to start announcing those here pretty soon. So yeah, appreciate everyone. Join us Wednesday evening. More Dynasty talk. Have a good rest of your Sunday. Catch you guys then. Peace.